Today, we're stepping into a laboratory that doesn't get talked about enough. We're continuing the In the Laboratory series, where I take you into the labs of the best pastry chefs in Romania to see how they organize their work. And today, we're making a signature dessert alongside the pastry chef who not only knows taste, she redefines it. Tell us who you are and how your journey in pastry began.
My name is Ioana Crișan, and my journey in pastry officially started in 2014 when I attended my first macaron course. Before that first course, I tried to make macarons at home and totally failed, of course, but I was determined to properly learn how to make macarons. Since then,
They've become an obsession, right?
yes, macarons are my little obsession.
What does the Oradea market look like for a pastry chef like you?
What a question! I'll answer very honestly, okay? I lived in Cluj until 2022. Since 2022, I've been living in Oradea, and I'll admit that I still don't completely know the Oradea customer's behavior. It's a very pretentious customer. But there is no market for macarons, which is not a problem because we are creating it. But the reality is that neither in Oradea nor in Romania is there a macaron market yet. So we have work to do.
Where do you feel the difference that a premium product like Elevir makes in your dessert?
In everything. In macarons, for example, especially because they are a small product in size and structure, you can taste it in every bite. Since I learned to make macarons, since I attended the course, I've only made macarons with Elevir and Valrhona. During this time, how many years? 11 years? I also had moments when I used other types of cream and other types of chocolate. In taste, indeed, and in performance. In the fact that, again, you get the same result every single time, and I don't know, this combination, to me Valrhona with Elevir is exactly from the same family. I know that's literally true, but they have no equal for me. And that's what I want to offer to my clients. Something you can't eat anywhere else, an unrivaled taste.
What is your vision in the kitchen, in pastry, especially since you are perhaps the best example of artisanal pastry?
Yeah, this is a very nice question. My vision is about taste education, about educating people to make conscious choices. I strongly believe in the philosophy of eye, nose, and taste. You see it with your eyes. I really like the visual aspect too. You smell it, it must smell beautiful, very important, and then the taste goes straight in. You have the full package, so that's kind of the vision. I've never thought of putting it like this in a box, although it is. What else can I tell you is that with our products, pastry products, whether they're macarons or something else, I want that the moment you see them, so first sight, you understand what you're going to find inside. We are very attentive to this part, to the small details.
If you had to recommend one single Elevir product for a memorable dessert, which would it be?
The Excellence cream, clearly. Because I believe that in combination with anything, it can elevate any cream, any fluffiness, any chocolate to excellence level.
Excellence cream is the macaron of Elevir.
Crème de la crème.
Just like the macaron is for you, that's what the cream is for Elevir.
Yes, I mean, if you choose one, that's the one.
I think everyone chooses the cream, and rightfully so, because it really is a very good product and practically a signature for Elevir. What product did you choose?
Surprisingly, in a way that would make you very surprised, a pink macaron. Should I tell you why? Let me tell you something very practical. The macarons box lab is optimized for macaron production.
I didn't expect that.
Neither did I. Let's get to work. From today's recipe, we'll get about 30 to 35 macarons, approximately 4 centimeters in diameter, plus a few larger Ispahan ones. I put into the Thermomix 150 grams of powdered sugar with 150 grams almond flour for the macarons. Next, we sieve the almond flour and powdered sugar mixture to aerate it, not to make it finer. Let's move on to the cream. We need 150 grams of Elevir Excellence cream. I heat the cream to 60-65 degrees Celsius directly in the Thermomix, speed 1.5. Over the heated cream, I add the chocolate, weighting it directly using the Thermomix scale, 160 grams chocolate. It's a Valrhona Inspiration Framboise chocolate, a unique chocolate in the world which contains raspberry puree. I have the chocolate weighted, the cream at the right temperature, and I pour the chocolate into the Thermomix. I change the temperature to 55 degrees Celsius, put the lid on, and increase the speed to 2.5. What is happening now is the emulsion between the vegetable fats and the animal fats at a controlled temperature, which will make this raspberry chocolate ganache very stabilized. The chocolate and cream should stay in the Thermomix for about 2 minutes maximum. It takes very little time to prepare ganache in Thermomix, plus the emulsion is performed very correctly and the shelf life of the ganache is extended thanks to the controlled processing temperature. I tighten the piping bag, store it in the fridge for a minimum of 6 hours, ideally overnight for about 12 hours. Here we have 2 parts of egg whites, exactly 55 grams and 55 grams. Why do I insist? Because egg white has a lot of moisture, and moisture is the number one enemy of pastries, especially macarons. 150 grams sugar with 35 grams water and the almond flour powdered sugar mix, 150 grams with 150 grams. I put the egg whites into the mixer, preparing them to be whipped. This is the first part of the egg whites. The second part of the egg whites I simply pour over the powdered sugar and almond flour, letting them hydrate. At this moment, what could I also do? I could mix and form a paste, but because I don't like to work unnecessarily, I won't form a paste that I would then have to break apart and mix with the meringue, so I just leave it. It's fine. It's not wrong to form a paste, but I prefer this option. The pot with the quantities for the syrup, sugar and water. A stove top. If you have a regular stove, you can make the syrup on the smallest burner with a medium to high flame, but not too high. You need a sugar thermometer that will show you the current temperature and the temperature you want to bring the syrup to. From our experience so far, we make macarons with Italian meringue with the syrup at 120-121 degrees Celsius, not 118. Because when it reaches 121 and you pour in it, it cools down. If you only bring it to 118, the macarons will crack in the oven because not all elastic bonds have formed. The reason we use the Italian meringue method for macarons is stability. The more correctly you do it and the more careful you are with the numbers, temperature, quantities as exact as possible, the more control you have. The first step is to put your syrup on the stovetop with a thermometer inside, essential. The golden rule of syrup: do not stir it. Not with a thermometer probe, not with a spoon, not with a spatula, even if you notice sugar crystals on the edge. When you stir and make circular movements in the syrup, you recrystallize the sugar, and you don't want a crystallized syrup. You want a very clear, transparent syrup. The syrup is now 103-105 degrees Celsius. I'll turn on the mixer at maximum speed. At 114-116 degrees Celsius, depending on your mixer, I start whipping the egg whites to foam. I use a powerful mixer so I can start whipping at 116 degrees Celsius. If you know your mixer is slower, I recommend starting at 110-112 degrees Celsius so that when the syrup reaches 112-116, the foam is ready. When the syrup passes 120 and reaches 121 degrees Celsius, I remove the thermometer probe and pour it all at once, not in a thin stream, over the egg white foam. What's very important here, and this is a little secret I want you to know from today on, for macarons, especially if you're a beginner, there is no such thing as egg whites whipped too stiff. I recommend whipping the whites a bit firmer at the beginning until you get used to it and find your balance, rather than pouring the syrup over a semi-liquid foam. From the moment you pour the syrup over the foam, you have your meringue. The meringue must be cooled. That means that immediately after pouring the syrup at 120-121 degrees Celsius, you let the mixer run at maximum speed for 3 to 5 minutes to cool the meringue. Why do we do this? Over 50 degrees Celsius. When you mix it with the almond flour powdered sugar composition, because you don't want the fats from the almond flour to melt and create oily spots. My favorite coloring, the one I mentioned earlier, is raspberry red, because depending on the amount you use, the maximum you can use is 1 gram. 1 gram of coloring is quite a lot and you'll get an intense pink. Why do I like this coloring? Because if you add 0.01 or 0.03 or 0.06, you'll get different shades of pink, which at Macarons Box we love. I add the coloring, you can weight it or you can add it without weighing, but don't be afraid of coloring. What I recommend if you don't weight it is to add a little at a time, because you can always add more, but you can take away coloring once added. I add it directly over the meringue, but it's not wrong to add it to the egg whites that you mix with the almond flour powdered sugar mixture, as long as you wait it beforehand so you know exactly what shade you get each time. I pour the almond flour powdered sugar egg white mixture over the colored meringue. The meringue made with the Italian method with syrup. I mix by hand with a silicone spatula. I recommend one that's not a single piece, not with a wooden handle nor with a detachable one, because you risk leaving composition behind. I mix. There are many myths about how to mix macarons, how to get the perfect macaronage, whether to mix 20 times or 40 times. Nobody really knows if that works. What does work is practice, making macarons, preparing them, and learning to identify the correct macaronage texture. The first sign that the macaronage is almost ready is the shine. We keep mixing. I like to mix in a circular motion, and it's very important to incorporate all the almond flour, all the sugar, all the egg whites, everything. And of course, we do the ribbon test, which is not quite there yet. I mix 2 or 3 more times. At this point, for a beginner, the macaronage is ready and goes into the piping bag. If you want extremely shiny macarons on top, you can mix 2 or 3 more times. I prepare the piping bag so it's under tension. What a cute color. A piping bag in tension means a bag that you control, not one where the batter controls you. That means that with your right or left hand between your thumb and palm, you fix the bag, and with the other hand, twist it until it becomes tight, meaning the batter slightly pushes out through the tip, or you can test with a finger to see if it pushes back. That's tension. To pipe macarons correctly, I use a 9mm round tip, a plastic piping bag. I don't recommend silicone piping bags, which I cut so that it doesn't go too far down the piping tip, but also doesn't interfere with the tip's opening. Because I use a round tip, the batter comes out round. That's what we want, round macarons. The way you position the piping bag with the tip above the silicone mat is very important. To pipe correctly, you must hold the bag perpendicular, meaning straight above the mat, about 1 cm from the surface. Perpendicular, 1 cm above, I squeeze with my right hand, or left if you're left-handed. Release the bag and make a slight twisting motion. What you shouldn't do is hold the bag at an angle. This is not correct, and you won't get round macarons but oval ones. Another thing you shouldn't do is pipe while moving the bag irregularly. You don't get a uniform circle. Another little secret when piping, besides staying perpendicular and close, no more than 1 cm, you must not fill the printed circles on the mat completely. You leave 1 to 2 mm. Or you can count 1, 2, 3. Another tip is hold the bag perpendicular, squeeze with the top hand, release, twist. Squeeze, release, twist. And while doing that, you keep telling yourself, don't fill the circle, don't fill the circle. As you can see, the surface is shiny and leveled out. This is a good sign that the macaronage was done correctly. If we kept mixing, it would become runnier and overflow the edges. We put them in the oven at 150 degrees Celsius oven air, and I'll show you how to measure the oven's air temperature. You measure the oven's air temperature with an oven thermometer that shows the actual temperature inside, not the temperature you set when preheating the oven. Some ovens are very powerful, and you will see a difference between your setting and the actual air temperature. This is why I recommend buying an oven thermometer and using it correctly. That means placing it in the top part of the oven where the air is hottest. I don't recommend placing it on the sides or bottom, because hot air always rises, and when baking macarons, you want to know the temperature in the upper zone. Macarons bake at 150 degrees Celsius. This is a standard temperature without ventilation, preferably. If you're using a home oven, you absolutely need this thermometer. The thermometer must show 150 degrees Celsius, top and bottom heat, no ventilation. Simple. In a professional oven, the temperature should be around 135-140 degrees Celsius because it's stronger. And it would be great if you could set ventilation to minimum or none. In a home oven, macarons ideally bake for 15 to 16 minutes. It depends a lot on your oven. That's why you need a thermometer. It really helps you learn your oven. In a professional oven, it depends, but 13 to 14 minutes for sure. After removing them from the oven and letting them cool down on the silicone mat on the baking tray for about 15 minutes, we pair them, meaning we match 2 shells of the same size, ideally, and fill them with raspberry cream. This is how the macarons turned out. Come on, Robert, let's taste them.
Cheers!
Cheers! Good.
They're so tender and the raspberry tastes amazing. It balances the sweetness.
You can get that with puree.
You took a prettier bite than I did.
I'm already an expert. I'm not a fan of fresh macarons. I like them after a few days, aged.
The flavor balances more.
If your fridge is good.
For more videos like this, don't forget to give a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'm waiting for you on Instagram with lots of useful tips.